That light feels a bit bright this morning. Do you think it's too bright? Am I too bright and well illuminated?
Always.
Good. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Bloody welcome.
I've got an itchy nose.
Thank you for tuning in this week to our lovely show starring me, Richard.
And me, Paul.
That's right. Thank you, Paul.
I'm a bit slow this morning. I feel a bit slow.
I think it's because we're immersed in Midwinter, aren't we?
No.
No?
No.
Okay then.
Well, Midwinter is the middle of January. Meteorologically, it's the middle of January.
I know, but we're racing towards the shortest day, Paul.
We are.
Yeah.
That always confuses me a bit because meteorologically...
That's not funny.
It's sort of odd, isn't it?
Well, it's midwinter, so it'll be the shortest day on the 21st or whatever day it is, 22nd. The solstice, winter solstice.
But then, midwinter is classed as like the middle of January.
Well, I mean, those are generally the most wintry times. Wintry.
Yeah, yeah.
You can say wintery or wintry.
Can you say that?
Yeah, the term is wintry without an E.
Yeah, I would say wintry.
But you can say wintry as well. Apparently both are acceptable.
There we are.
Acceptable.
Is that real though, or is it sort of acceptable in one place and not acceptable elsewhere?
I don't know. No idea.
I do. Yeah, I have read them both. You're right.
Oh, good. That's excellent, Paul. Well done for being so observant.
I would use wintry.
My lips are dry.
Can you say springy?
No, because that would...
You'd say spring-like.
Spring-like, yes.
Yeah.
Springy is a term for something that bounces.
Summery.
Summery, airy, summery.
And then we wouldn't say autumny, we'd say autumnal.
That's correct. These are the foibles and strange little bits and pieces that go up to make the...
English language?
I was going to say language.
Language. Language.
Language anglais. What's long? Le long, isn't it?
Yeah.
Long. Anglais.
My mum's maiden name was Le Sauvage.
Yes.
And it's funny. Somebody commented that their grandmother, I think, was also a Le Sauvage, and I looked at it this morning, and I thought, gosh, that's so Guernsey. It really is. Obviously, it's sort of Norman French. But it's so Guernsey.
Well, you can't use the word obviously, Paul, because to many people it would not be obvious, would it?
It's obvious to me coming from Guernsey. It's a very Guernsey name. It's like my doctor. He's called Prévost, Dr. Prévost. And in Guernsey you have Le Prévost. You don't have Prévost, you have Le Prévost. And when I said to him one day, why aren't you Le Prévost? He said, because Le Prévost is a higher sort of nobility than just Prévost. I didn't realise that.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for that unscheduled piece of information. Shall we get on with the show, Paul?
Yes, I think we should. Otherwise, I'll witter and witter.
So,
and witter.
First of all, thank you so much to our new subscribers. Welcome, bloody welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We had a sort of dip. We lost sort of like I don't know, 10, 15 subscribers at one point, maybe a week ago, and just stayed static at that lower number for about a week. And then in the last few days, it's just gone boop.
Paul, we can't complain, can we?
Oh, no.
Having 7.9 million subscribers in New Zealand alone, more than the population.
It is.
We can't complain, really, can we? We're joking. It's a joke. That was a glitch on YouTube. We haven't really got that many subscribers.
Yeah, but it does glitch sometimes, doesn't it?
Glitch, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So let's get on with the show. What are we talking about? So we wanted to remind you all that we are on other social media platforms as well. Like Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Planet Vegetaria. That's a Facebook group by Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual. We're also on Instagram, Richard and Paul.
Yes.
We're also on the Twitter.
We are. Not as regularly as Instagram, but yeah, we are.
Paul manages the Twitter.
Yeah, we see Geraldine quite a lot and various others on Twitter, yes.
I don't, because I never use it.
No, you do Instagram.
I do Instagram.
Instagram.
There isn't an E on the end of Instagram.
Instagram.
And we're also on Coffee, where you can buy us a coffee and unlock additional content like podcasts, behind the scenes of Sunday Chat, and Sunday Chat Extra, plus photos and more.
Yes, it's a joy.
It is, it's lovely.
Absolute joy.
Brilliant. So we're so grateful to all of our followers on all of our platforms. Thank you.
And we're on Richard and Paul. We have a Richard and Paul Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
Have you mentioned that? Or had I fallen asleep at that? Oh no, good. Yes, there we are.
Lovely. So, we wanted to mention a couple of things as well before we get going.
Did we?
Yes, we wanted to mention the Free Seed Company.
Oh yes,
Didn't
yes,
we?
we do. The Free Seed Company. That's thefreeseedcompany.org. It's a company that collects seeds that are donated to it and distribute. So they donate out the seeds to organisations and community groups that engage, educate and enable. So if you've got a huge box of seeds or any spare seeds, do look them up and please send your spare seeds, he says spitting, off to them. Because if you've got spare seed that you're not going to use, it's best it goes somewhere else where they can use it or they can share it to be used. Obviously, you might be able to share it in your local community or at your allotment or your growing space or community garden, but do look up thefreeseedcompany.org because they're a great organisation and I'd like to try and support them more to let them grow or enable them to grow, because I think it's a fabulous initiative and it's something that I thought of starting several years ago, and these guys have got together and they started it as a not-for-profit, and I think it's fabulous. So do go over and have a look.
And if you do mention Richard and Paul send you over...
What happens then?
Nothing.
Oh, right, okay. Are you going to put a link? Can we put a link?
Oh, Paul! Waffling on and on forever and a day. We will put a link in there, loves. Okay? No, but the thing we wanted to say was we sent the seeds and they gave us a shout-out.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They did a shout-out.
So I went through Bertie and also some seeds that Jane, from Jane's allotment, had sent.
Bertie is the box.
Bertie the box, yes.
For those of you who don't know.
And looked up took out all the spare seed, put it into an envelope and posted it off to them. So they have got that. So, yeah, there we are.
Lovely.
I looked to see if they had a donate button on their Facebook page, but I can't see that.
No, but it's on their website. Clearly you didn't look hard enough, Paul.
I didn't look at the website.
Look at the website. It says make a donation. You can click and it gives you all of the details.
What, for cash or seeds?
Oh,
that's what I mean, because it's a not-for-profit company, so as well as needing seeds that they can distribute, they also need money so that they can run the organisation.
Lovely.
Yeah. I hope they get grants and things like that, but do look them up.
We also had a lovely little card from Gabby as well. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you very much, Gabby.
Lovely little Christmassy card with some seeds.
So we've got seeds inside, and these are
Agastaki.
Agastaki. Now, I would have said Agastache, you see. Yeah. But it's Agastaki, and they are Navajo Sunset, which sounds rather lovely, and Hummingbird Mint. Doesn't that sound fabulous?
I'm sure we've had those before in one of our old gardens. I'm sure I bought some seeds in one of the old gardens.
One of the old gardens?
One of the old gardens.
One of the gardens we used to in the olden days, one of the old gardens from the 1840s that we had. Yeah. Which old garden?
One of our previous properties, Paul.
We haven't really... Well, we've only had 2 previous gardens, haven't we?
Yes, and it was in one of them. Sake.
Which one was it then?
I'm sure it was Grosvenor Road.
I think it will have been Grosvenor Road. We had such a lovely, lovely garden at Grosvenor Road. We really did.
And it was such a cute little working man's cottage, wasn't it?
It was. It was a cottage that was. It was sort of like upstairs was one flat, and downstairs was another flat, and then the garden was split long ways into 2. I think it was about 40 metres by about 5 metres, something like that, or 4 metres. It was long but narrow, and the cottages were built for the workers that built the the viaduct that you go out of London from Paddington on.
The Warncliffe Viaduct.
The Warncliffe Viaduct,
which was designed by
Brunel.
Brunel. Oh, God.
Brunel.
I think we need to get you some elocution lessons, Paul.
I can't say ruh.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So, lovely, that's lovely.
But it was absolutely gorgeous, and we had those goldenrods that year, do you remember? We had hundreds of goldenrods, and we had a little path, very narrow path, that meandered through this 4 or 5 metre wide bit of garden that we had.
It didn't meander through it, it was a straight path.
Yeah, well, it meandered after a glass of wine or 2 anyway. And it was just lovely walking through it. It felt quite magical, really, even though it was such a tiny garden.
It was a lovely garden, designed by me.
Was it?
Well, you're talking as though you did all the work. People are going to assume that you did all the work in that garden. I did that garden.
You did not.
I did. I can show you my plans.
Yeah,
I've still got them.
Having a plan isn't about digging all the ground, which I did.
I don't think so.
You did a few pencil drawings and bushes and things and put names there.
I double dug that garden all on my own a winter's day. I remember.
We had
and
some
I made that
lovely
patio as well.
You did make the patio. Yes, you did make the patio. We were quite lucky in that our next door neighbours, their bit was higher than ours.
They had theirs built up to reach their back door. If you remember, their door had a drop.
Yeah.
So they had it built up to the It did partially collapse, didn't it?
It did. Yes. It had to be bolstered.
But anyway, let's move on because that's old news.
It is, rather. So yes, it was a lovely garden.
Anyway, let's move on, Paul. We've done that to death now. I'm going to have some of my coffee. And Paul, you made this coffee with milk. It's a half and half.
It is.
And did you perhaps heat the milk in the microwave?
I did heat the milk in the microwave. And what are you doing? And I boiled the water in the kettle as well.
In the kettle?
Kettle. Yes.
Lovely. And perhaps you'll be baking the bread in the oven.
Oven, absolutely. I mean...
This is in the news this week that Nigella Lawson, TV cook, pronounced microwave microwave and broke the internet. I mean, who doesn't at home make up strange pronunciations for everyday words?
Absolutely. I do all the time. Sometimes because I actually forget what the word is.
And she broke the bloody internet. I mean, give me a break. But very clever.
Very clever. Very clever. You'll note that in quite a few programmes, there's something that the PR people can really get their teeth into. So in I think it was the first or the second week of Nigella was the double buttered toast or the twice buttered toast, where she got a 250 gram block of butter, used a quarter of it to butter her toast, let it melt, and then used another quarter, so using a whole half slab, to butter it again so that she had puddles of butter.
How much did she use?
Oh, it was about a ton of butter she used on a piece of toast.
A quarter?
No, it was like half of the slab of butter.
No, hang on a second. A quarter?
Yeah, about 100 grams of butter.
A quarter?
A quarter.
A quarter, you said? A quarter?
A quarter.
A quarter.
A quarter of water bought by her daughter. It wasn't water, it was butter.
It was fun.
And there's always something. I mean, it's like Great British Bake Off, you know, when I see... I mean, we watched the last few episodes of Great British Bake Off, but not the beginning ones. But in the next day's papers, you know, you'd have the bit about, oh, you know, was this Chinese or was this not Chinese, or Oriental Week or something like that. And it's just something that the PR people spin out. It does amuse. It amuses me rather than me thinking, oh yeah, that's
I'm
clever.
only amused by the Bake Off when people actually drop things out of the oven. That makes me die, I tell you. Anyway, let's move on, Paul. In other news this week, the sad death of Barbara Windsor.
Oh.
And we were talking about Carry On Films last week.
Yeah.
And sadly she has passed away, so the news has been full of tributes to Bar,
Yeah.
as she is known in the industry. Not Babs, as many people think. She's known as Bar. And, yeah, sad, but she was 83, you know. Okay, I think she did really well, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's heartbreaking for anybody supporting a loved one through Alzheimer's and dementia. It's a very difficult situation. So, obviously, our thoughts are with her family.
Yeah, and Scott in particular.
So, yeah. And it's interesting because this got us talking about Carry On Films again. We're not going to labour the point again this week. But we were sort of saying how whether or not in, say, 100 years' time, people will still be watching Carry On Films. And how society goes through phases, you know, prudish phases, and then saucy phases. You know, I mean, we're going through a phase now in life in society where people are taking their clothes off for money.
Yeah,
You know, people are doing porn, you know, porn to pay for. Members of the public, you know, there's that fan site that I came across on Instagram. Well, it was a link. I clicked on the link, okay. He was nice looking. And it said view my profile. I clicked on the profile and it took me to this OnlyFans site where basically you pay. I haven't paid, no. If I wanted to, I would, though.
Oh, yeah.
Where you pay a subscription and people basically take their clothes off on videos.
I think they do more than that.
Well, probably. But, so we're living in that kind of society where pop stars are constantly revealing breasts and bottoms. And, of course, in the 60s and 70s, it was a little bit like that as well, But we were wondering, will society swing the other way and become Victorian, potentially, where
Victorian
an Edwardian,
morals, yeah,
where flashing an ankle was considered saucy.
Well, of course, in some places it still is.
Yeah.
In some territories of
Well, yeah,
the world.
we're in Western society, and it's interesting, isn't it? Though I wonder if that will happen.
Who was it? Who was the sort of campaigner?
Mary Whitehouse.
Mary Whitehouse, that's right, who sort of said everything was going a bit too far. And I must admit, in the sort of 70s and 80s, I would look at her and I'd think, get with it. But now I think, actually, maybe it has all tipped over a bit too much.
Well, look, you have to leave things to the imagination. I mean, look at Gypsy Rose Lee.
Yes, exactly.
She never actually took her clothes off, did she?
No.
Well, she never showed anything. It was the titillation.
I love the dance of the seven veils in Carry On, isn't it? Is that Carry? I can't remember which one that
Paul,
one is.
But we said we weren't going to go on about Carry On.
I know, but I was thinking of Barbara and.
It's a very British thing. A lot of our people might be turning off, saying we don't know what that means.
Yeah, but a lot of our people like British things as well. They like to hear about what goes on in the UK.
How will society end up?
But will they be watching it in 100? I mean, look.
We don't know because we can't travel into the future, can we? No.
Well, no, but let's say I'm now 54, going on 55. If I'm still alive in 30 years' time, will I be watching Carry On films? Yes.
That's only 30 years.
I know it's only 30 years.
A lot can happen in 100 years.
Yes, it can.
A lot.
Yes, look what happened in
several
the last
world wars.
In 10 years, a lot can happen.
Potentially.
Can't it? Yeah.
I mean, look at Brexit.
Oh, let's not look at Brexit.
I mean, that's almost causing a war in the North Sea.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Crazy.
All of this,
Yeah. Anyway, let's not go on
about Navy boats and things. I mean, really, get real.
Shush.
It's just rubbish.
Quiet.
It really is.
Close thy mouth, lest thou lose thy tongue. So, word of the week. Word of the bloody week. We didn't do one last week, did we? Did we?
I don't know.
Didn't we? I can't remember.
Oh, but Susie Dent.
Yes.
She has
on
a
countdown. Countdown. They don't know what Susie Dent is.
I was just about to say.
But you need to say that at the beginning. Countdown. Popular quiz show.
She has a Twitter account and she has a word of the day.
Oh,
and her word of the day the other day was boondoggle.
Boondoggle.
We've been there before, haven't we?
Yes, I don't know which episode it was, but boondoggle describes someone that kind of pretends to be very busy but actually doesn't get anything done at all. We know a few people like that, don't we?
And of course our government is exactly the same. They've been boondoggling on a certain B word for 4 years plus.
Anyway.
There we are.
Word of the week.
Right.
Susie Dent. Nicking it from us.
I think she's been doing it a bit longer than we have.
I don't care.
I think you nicked a bit of Susie.
I don't want to nick anything from Susie. Thank you.
That's a great name, isn't it, Dent? Oh, I've just thought I've got Savvy Dent, haven't I? Savvy Doll. Yeah, there we are. I've got a bit of Susie in my name. Yeah. What's the word of the week this week, Richard?
Well, thank you very much for asking, Paul. Okay. The word of the week this week is sesquid... Oh no.
Saskatchewan.
Sesquipedalian. Or Dalian.
Is it something to do with octopuses?
Sesquipedalian. So that's S for sugar, E, S for sugar, Q for queen, U for uncle, I, P, E, D, A, L, I, A, N for nobody.
Sesquipedalian.
Yes. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Ses. Is it
Something
C,
to do
did
with-
you say, or S?
What?
How does it start?
S for sugar.
S. Sesquipedalian.
Yes.
Is it... Oh,
What was that? Alexa, what was that notification?
One new notification from Amazon Shopping. 3 months ago, you bought Eastern Milo men's socks on Amazon. Now you can help other Amazon customers by sharing your opinion. How many
Alexa,
stars would you...
stop. So she's giving us a notification that 3 months ago I bought some socks and I can now help others out by reviewing that order. Cheeky bitch.
oh dear. There we
So,
are.
what does it mean?
Sesquipedalian. Is it interrupting something with something completely inconsequential?
No.
Because that's what she just did. Sesquipedalian. Quip. Is it when you use multi-headed tools to do work?
No. And that's where we'll leave it, Paul, because you're not going to. It means containing many syllables or long-winded.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Dosha expeditious fragicalirupus.
There we are.
So,
Where did you learn that?
Dosha expeditious fragicalirupus, because that's what she sings in the bloody song, Paul. Have you never listened to the song?
No.
You know, you can say it backwards, which is Dosha expeditious fragicalirupus. But that's going a bit too far.
Yeah,
don't
no, I
you
do.
think?
Yeah, she
that's
does
what
say
she
that.
says.
She does say it. What's that Welsh long golly gosh?
Clan fire. Yeah.
We visited that one day.
Yeah, lovely. So, Paul, let's move on to the next segment. That's a nice word, isn't it? Segment. I think of segments of oranges.
Well, yeah, but what type of oranges do you think? Chocolate oranges. That's what he thinks of. Segments of Terry's chocolate oranges.
We've got a chocolate orange in the cupboard from last Christmas.
Have you?
Yeah, I found it the other day.
It'll have gone off. Was that from Mum? Yeah.
Chocolate doesn't go off.
It does. It goes sort of white. And
You can still eat it though.
I'm not sure you can. Well, you can. You will. I know that. Yeah.
Maybe if it was melted down.
Oh, and then you temper it again and make it into segments again.
The bloom on chocolate is completely harmless.
Yeah, I think it is.
Unless it's green.
Yeah.
In which case you can just wash it off.
I mean,
And-
cheese, you know, you need to always be careful. But of course, blooms on cheese is effectively
No,
where
it's
you're
not.
going.
That's where you're wrong.
Oh, I'm wrong.
You must not eat mould on cheese
No,
if
no,
it's not a blue cheese.
No, I'm not saying you eat the mould on it, but we used to
Just chop it off.
cut it off.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's like anything that's gone off. If you pick a pepper out of the fridge and it's partially mouldy. I don't throw the whole thing away. I just cut off the mouldy bit.
No, but you need to be careful with things like bread and things because that mycelial fungi network can get through.
Yeah, I can tell if bread's off. I have actually eaten off bread and been partially through a sandwich.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and realised that it had gone off.
Did I make that sandwich?
No, it was years ago.
Right.
But so I can tell that taste.
Oh,
I
disgusting.
wasn't sick.
Oh, no.
No, I think it probably did me some good.
I mean, the acid that you get in your stomach will kill most things like that anyway. So, yeah.
Anyway, Paul, let's move on to the next segment, which is what have we been watching on television this week?
We watch quite a lot.
We have. It's been a bumper week for television, although I have fallen asleep several times.
Yes. You fell asleep last night. We were watching something last night with Robert Redford. Was it Robert Redford?
Oh, yes, it was quite good and I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I just felt tired.
Did you see the bit where he dragged her out of the seawater?
Yes.
Right. I think you fell asleep after that.
What was that called?
Don't know. But we'll talk about that one next week.
We haven't watched it fully. When we've finished, we'll give you a rundown on it. So we watched What We Do in the Shadows, the film, the movie, which we enjoyed.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was a New Zealand film.
And it was, despite it being a New Zealand film, it was very good.
I'm not sure about
I'm
despite.
joking.
That's
New Zealand.
7.9 million people just
I'm
unsubscribed.
joking. New Zealand has a thriving, in fact, it's the most thriving film industry in the world at the moment because of the lack of COVID.
Oh yeah, I suppose
It is. It's
yeah.
bigger than Hollywood.
Well, I mean, Ireland and Northern Ireland is pretty big in itself as well. So, but yeah.
Northern Ireland? What are you talking about?
Ireland and Northern Ireland. There's a lot of film goes on there. I mean, Game of Thrones was filmed in Belfast. Lots of things are being filmed over there.
We weren't talking about Ireland. We were talking about New Zealand.
I know we were, but I was thinking of islands.
Stop jumping around, Paul.
We
Honestly.
did enjoy it, though. We didn't enjoy it as much as the series.
I think the characters in the series are funnier.
Yes.
They are. And there was no female lead.
That's what I was about to say.
Well, I beat you to it.
However, I did like the character of Peter. I like the character of Peter.
Oh, the vampire.
The very,
old.
very old vampire.
Yes, he was fun.
Yeah. He didn't last long, but he was fun.
Didn't. Don't tell people, Paul, in case they want to watch it. So it is good. It's worth watching, but the series is better.
But
it's
it was
made by the same makers.
Do you want to say about the title music as well?
And the same title music as well, which we were pleased about, which was good. Then we also watched Insidious Part 3.
Insidious 3.
No, it's Part 3, it's called.
I thought it was called Insidious 3.
Part 3.
Was it?
Yeah, Part 3. That's what they're called. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3.
Insidious Part 3.
Oh, you wouldn't say the T.
I thought it would have an E on the end.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it does. Anyway, that was fun. That was better than Part 2.
Oh, much better than Part 2.
And of course, you've got the lovely Elise, haven't we?
Yes.
Who we like. She's a great character. So that was good. We also watched a film called The Titan.
Yes. Made by the same people who made Insidious.
And it was okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It had one of the actors from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
And I like her. You're a bit iffy.
She's okay.
And then it had the guy that was in Avatar, you said.
Was it? I don't know whether it was him or not.
Anyway, it had this other guy in it who...
He looked a bit like him, but he wasn't very good.
No, it was an interesting concept.
Yeah, but you know, we don't really recommend it that much. I mean, I'd say 5 out of 10. It was a time waster. It kept us beyond 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, because we watched the whole thing.
Yeah. But, you know, we watched a documentary called Alien Worlds.
We did.
That was interesting, but a bit repetitive.
I think this is the problem with these new documentaries that are being done now. They repeat the same thing 4 or 5 times.
I felt it was perhaps made for... No, I won't say that word.
People who weren't as knowledgeable on certain things. Mind you, I say things 4 or 5 times as well, don't I?
I just felt what they did was they did all this sort of CGI stuff and
which looked great.
And created these alien worlds based on how evolution might go if the conditions were different. So if gravity was stronger, things would develop in a different way. Creatures and plants and whatever would develop in, you know, they would be lower and flatter and all sorts of different concepts. But they kept repeating the same bit of CGI and giving it a slightly different voiceover. It's like, we've seen that bit already, you know, so there were extra bits that were too extra. The explanations were made too many times. It's like, yeah, we get that. Let's move on. So, documentary for dummies. Basically.
But the CGI was fab.
It was.
Great.
It was very good. It was very good. So, interesting if you're new to those concepts and don't have background to fill out the concepts themselves. We're kind of into that subject matter already, so we didn't need to hear the same concept repeated 4 times.
And talking about alien worlds, we also watched Discovery again, Star Trek Discovery again. Another fantastic episode last night.
Well, we continued with the series.
Yeah, another episode. That's what I said.
Continued with the series. It continues to amaze and delight.
It does.
Superb. If you're not watching Star Trek Discovery, well, frankly, you're missing out. Lovely. We also started a series called The Boys, which was recommended to us by Dan. Thank you, Dan. We gave it about 20 minutes, didn't we? And I said to you, didn't I, how are you getting on with this? And you said, well...
I don't care about any of the characters.
That was the problem. The story was kind of pretty good, quite a good concept. Effects were good. Acting, characters. We didn't fall in love with anybody.
No.
And we didn't like anybody particularly.
No.
In fact, the only character I started to like met their demise very quickly.
Exactly. Me as well.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I'm sure plenty of people will enjoy it.
But not us.
It wasn't for us. We didn't get on with it, but we gave it a go. You know, because if somebody recommends something, we will give it a go.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go, you know. Yeah, we'll give it a go. Oh, we also watched, we've watched a couple of Vera's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you imagined someone
But she did actually say that.
She did.
She said, "Now, love, did you murder your husband?" I mean, be direct. Did you murder your husband, love? Did you?
And then there was the little sort of uplift.
And she blinks, doesn't she, and smiles a little bit.
Yeah.
I
mean, it was a repeat. It was on ITV3.
But I have to say, I have it on very, very good authority that they're filming a new series.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
A friend of mine shared a picture that somebody had taken in a cafe up in that place.
Northumberland?
Where they... Newcastle. Oh, can't do it. Newcastle upon Tyne. Oh no, sorry.
Newcastle upon Punjabi, that was.
I'm so sorry, I do apologise. Gerald Corland. Gerald Corland. Yeah, they are filming it. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Love Vera.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that, this was shared. I mean, it could have been a repeated share of a previous post years ago.
It could
but
have
it did look as though it was a new series. So, anyway, because she was in a cafe on her own.
Well, she'd been in a cafe on her own.
No, but she was totally on her own, so I think it might have been during social distancing.
Oh, I see, yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Exciting news. Exciting news.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, lovely.
Moving on.
Yes, I've just alienated a huge
we did.
swathe
We
of
actually
people.
had a film scouting crew down at the allotment the other
This
day.
is extremely exciting news. And Paul, I felt as though you potentially didn't handle this very well.
Why?
Well, you said to me, some people came down the plot and they're looking at doing some location shooting on the plot. I said, you what? And he said, and I showed them around the plot. I said,
didn't say like that.
what? Why on earth didn't you invite me down? You know what would have happened?
You were at work.
You did not show off your plot to its full advantage, Paul.
Ta-da!
Yes, exactly. This is my plot. Use this one now. You just went, here's a few growing areas.
Well, the thing is, I know what all this, scouting is all about. They'll go to, 50 different sites and decide that background is going to work best in this scenario, therefore they'll do it. And it will be a 15-second clip of him thinking about something or other while he's planting brassicas.
I could have done a interpretive dance
You could have.
across the plots, showing off pumpkins and cabbages and a little bit of Bob Fosse.
Do you know Bob Fosse's moves?
There's a neck, isn't there?
I think we're back to the Punjab, personally, but there we
I
are.
could have done a little
You could have done.
special for
You
them.
could have done.
That would have made them remember it. That's the key thing.
Yeah.
Remembrance.
Yeah. So we'll find out. As ever, I doubt anything will come of it. But our site has been used a number of times for filming and photography. It was in, I think we said this before, it was in Vogue International. Really, really dilapidated shed that we've got on site was used as the backdrop for Vogue International photo shoot.
Why am I
a
never
few years
there
ago.
when these things happen?
Because you're not invited.
So another example of ideas being stolen from Rich and Paul. The BBC have now made a programme regarding theme tunes.
Yes. Honestly, we come up with an idea and all these people nick it, don't they? People at the BBC, ITV, all
You
over.
know,
Honestly.
I swear to God.
I mean, who would have ever thought about doing a programme about theme tunes if we hadn't mentioned it? No one.
So that set us thinking, didn't it? And I was thinking to myself in the darkest moments of the week, in this wintry landscape we find ourselves in. You're meant to go,
I was actually wondering where the telekinesis came from, because when one thinks, it's to oneself.
I always try this. One tries to inject some drama and enthusiasm, some doodah of a la-la, and two other words, to make Sunday Chat special.
Sunday Chat!
for our viewers. And Paul, I'm afraid, you just always manage to put the mockers on it, don't you? Yes. Anyway, I was thinking about songs that get stuck in your head.
Earworms.
This is our new segment. What song's been stuck in your head this week? I'm wearing my poncho. That's not the song. It's just...
I was trying to think, where's that song title from?
You know what song's been stuck in my head this week? Lilac Wine.
Oh, right.
And I don't know why. I have absolutely no idea why. It just came into my head. It just popped in. Actually, thinking about it, I follow Elkie Brooks.
Well, there we are then.
On Facebook, and maybe something popped up of Elkie's.
There
Hi,
we are.
Elkie, if you're watching. She's not. And I think that might have started me thinking about Lilac Wine. If you don't know the song Lilac Wine, it was a song made famous by Elkie Brooks, actually. 1978, I think it was.
But it was an earlier song.
Oh yeah, 1950. Yeah, and it's been recorded by a lot of people. More recently by Miley Cyrus.
Right.
She did a version of it. A very good version, I have to say. Nina Simone recorded it.
I know the Nina Simone one.
She annoys me though.
Why?
Because she pronounces lilac, I think. Lilac.
As in
Lilac.
Shylock.
Lilac.
Right, as in Skylark.
So, but my favourite version, and Thingy did it as well. Eartha Kitt. Eartha Kitt, she did a version. But my favourite version is, what's his name? Oh God.
Cliff Richard.
No, give me a break. Oh God. Is it, I've forgotten his name. Is it Jeff Buckley?
Yeah, Jeff Buckley.
Yeah. Who sadly passed away very young. He did a version absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. If you don't know the song, check it out. I'm sure most people of our age will know that song. But it's basically about a drunk. Basically. Somebody who gets drunk on lilac wine and is conjuring up the thoughts of their ex-lover in a drunken haze. But it's got a mystical quality to it, the words,
Well, what is lilac wine?
Well, lilac wine's a thing. You can make lilac wine out of lilac. Lilac is meant to be a mild euphoric. But lilac is edible. Completely edible.
I know that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of making lilac wine, which of course in America they do call it lilac.
Lilac. So that was on my brain. Have you had any songs doing the earworm rounds, Paul?
I've had I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, which of course is the story of my life, really. So yeah, that's been my earworm for the week.
Such a profound song.
It is.
Not.
I used to remember
No.
when I lived in Primrose Hill many years ago with a friend of ours called Diana. I used to play that in the morning, and yeah. Oh, those were the days. I also remember I used to have a peanut butter, Marmite and lettuce sandwich on rye bread, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
That's making me seriously want to throw up.
And I would take some radishes, because then I could slice them up at work and add them to the sandwich and give that sort of extra crunch.
We're going now, so I can go and throw up.
Oh dear.
That's it. That's it for this week's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat!
We do hope you've enjoyed it. And something else.
Come back next week.
Maybe.
Yeah. Come over and watch us on Coffee for Sunday Chat Extra.
And behind the scenes of Sunday Chat, nobody's watching now. They've all switched off.
Have they?
So
Look, no, she hasn't.
Auntie Barbara's still there.
Yeah. Who's that one on the
That's
right?
Gerald. Gerald.
Is he the thumbs downer?
He's the stalker.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just stop it, Gerald, or else I will set Mario on you.
Is Mario on OnlyFans?
I don't know, Paul. I've never looked at OnlyFans. Thank you. Goodbye.
I thought you were going to say thank you, bloody thank you then.
I've already said bloody several times. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care.